Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Indies comic book review. We are one episode away from episode 10.
Yep.
10 more to 100. And we got a nice amount of books this week. We got 18 digital books. Well, actually 19, sorry. 19 digital books, including 2 old books and 2 trade paperbacks that we're continuing through, and 4 solid copies. So before we get into the books from this week, which was the week of November 27th, 2013, let's go to the digital copies that came out before November 27th,
Okay.
2013. Argo 5, number 3. I've got to do this one first. This story was a really, really good story. It involved Argo 5. They were, the beginning of the story, they're at their space station, and they're talking about, of course, again, chain reaction, bringing people up without authorization. And then the Monarch shows up. And it turns out these 5, the world and existence is in great danger due to, I want to make sure, 5 orbs. So they have to travel to 5 different dimensions to get the orbs and prevent them from destroying the universe. And in each different universe is a different artist and a different writer, actually. Crazy enough. This was a super big adventure, guys, and I highly, highly say it is worth the, I want to make sure I have the price right, it is definitely, absolutely worth $5.99. Tons and tons of pages. You have 43 pages of non-stop adventure and action, and there are guest stars from the Squirrel, yes, the Squirrel, who actually looks a little bit like Adam West from Batman. But I want to go back up to the top and give you guys all the teams that you get, all the crossovers you get in this book. You have Argo 5, of course. You have the Squirrel. Come on, go up. My stupid computer won't go up. There we go. You have Morning Glory, Arrowcat, and Witchy Boo.
Witchy Boo?
Yeah, I'm probably saying that wrong because of the way it's written. Nira, the Majestic 12. I'm so bad at Roman numerals. The Skung, Sorority of Power, the Squirrel, Sentinels, and like I said, Argo 5. So these are all the superpower teams that are in this book, and the cover shows all of them together. So you can see.
As I showed you guys before.
Still love Blue Dynamo. I don't know why, but Blue Dynamo should have been the one from Brooklyn because he's awesome. And the rest of the issue is Argo 5. Fighting against people who are in possession of the orb. Some of them are evil, some of them are possessed, what have you. There's a gigantic man with a street light on his head, and they travel to all the different universes to obtain the 5 orbs before it's too late. And there was some really awesome artwork in here. Some of the artwork was a bit anime-ish, some of the artwork had a little bit of sketchiness, but I'll tell you guys the truth, nothing that I did not like as far as the artwork. It was different styles.
It looks really nice.
I loved it. I really did love it. And there was actually a full 2-page spread with Argo 5, and I forgot who this one was, but that was the artwork. The story was great. It was amazing. And in the end, of course, as always, Argo 5 obtained all the orbs, and the universe was saved. But it was still the whole story, the whole battle of them getting to that point. It was really good. I really enjoyed this issue. I highly recommend it. This was an action-packed, epic adventure, actually. I couldn't stop reading up until the end of the story. It was that good. It was that interesting and that amazing. Several writers, like I said, were on the book, several artists. But in the end, it was just a really great adventure. And it was fun seeing the different art styles, the different universes, and how Argo 5 had to work with these teams, or in some cases, misunderstanding-wise, against these teams to obtain the orbs and take them.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. It was definitely 5 out of 5. I love the artwork. And then once again, in the back of the book, you have the pinups. And if you want a synopsis of all the people in the book, there, I wish I should have taken a picture of this, but you have a synopsis, rows and rows and rows of characters, and what their powers are and everything, and then once again you get the pinups. I love the second pinup of Blue Dynamo. This one was awesome. I'm not sure who did the art on this because I don't see the signature, but I love that second one with Blue Dynamo. That artwork was really, really awesome. But all in all, guys, a definite highly recommend book because lots of pages and the action never stops. Never a
Absolutely,
boring moment in the book. Takes right off. Book doesn't even start with BS. It literally, hi Argo 5, boom. Here's the problem. You guys have to save the world. You have to collect these orbs and boom. And then back and straight into the action and straight into the mission. Loved it. Highly recommend it. And that is my review of Argo 5 number 3. You showed the cover, right?
Of Argo, yeah.
Yes. Well, the people on that cover, that's basically everybody that's
basically
in
everybody, yeah.
the issue. Loved it. Recommend it highly. ArgoComics.com is where you can obtain it. And if there are any other links, I'm sure Brant will mention that in the description below. Hi, Brant, if you're watching. You're up next.
So yes, Sailing Comics starting on a
New series.
A new series, which is Black of Heart issue number 1. And I have a physical copy of issue number 2, so next week I'll show the comic of
Good
issue
for
2.
you.
Yes. So Black of Heart, what's this all about? By Chris Charleston as well. This was like a detective comic. I like the art of how it's like black and white, and then there's some pages where they have a little bit of red and yellow and
Blue.
and all that stuff. So basically what this comic is about, there's been a murder of someone who killed this woman. And I can't remember the guy's name, the detective, but all in all, like...
I think I made it too small, that's the problem.
Yeah. Like, they're just trying to find out who committed this murder and why. And as
Detective Harper?
Thank you. Detective Harper is the person who is trying to solve this case.
Hey, look, it's a yellow cab.
Yeah, and they actually give a synopsis of, you know how they do the story about how the scene actually happened where this woman goes to a bar, she goes in a cab.
How many times haven't we heard that story before, huh? Woman goes to a bar.
The cab driver was the last one in Brooklyn, because this is Brooklyn, New York. That's what I also liked about this comic book. And he wouldn't let her go. Like, he just kept driving, and she then died after all that. And we don't know who the person is because you just saw the eyes in the mirror. So after that, they do an autopsy of the woman to see what they can find. There was a little bit of a talk scene between two detectives and whatnot. And the ending part was the one that really... well, we find out one of the women gets kidnapped and tortured by, once again, the mysterious man, and we don't know who it is. But just getting back to what I said before, the ending part of the this comic was really something else. And there was some stuff about Detective Harper, of what he goes through in life. And this was really... it's a strong read, but it's easily understandable about his life and everything, and really looking forward to reading the next issue of Black of Heart. But this was an excellent comic. Chris Charleston has done it again. I'm hooked on this comic book. It's just...
I like the artwork in
which one?
Binary Grade better.
Well, yeah, because I have more of that, but the artwork here, like I said before, black and white, has a little bit of color in it, which I see as creative, actually, to build up
No,
the scenery.
absolutely. Every artist has their
saying
niche.
the scenery of the whole thing, but guys, you have to check out Sailing Comics. They got great comic books, and
Same thing with Argo Comics.
and same thing with Argo Comics. I was going to say that. So I recommend you check out Black of Heart and see what you like. If you like it, you'll get issue 2. If not, then you won't. But I don't see why not. You wouldn't like about, but your guys' opinions and your opinions matter.
Alright, let's jump into Xenoscope.
Yeah, Xenoscope.
Because I'm interested in hearing what you think about Robin Hood Chapter 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you take a picture of it?
I did take a picture of this. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4 or 3? Chapter 4. Wow, I'm good.
Yeah, very good, Chris.
I'm fine.
So yeah, so
Nice to meet you.
in this chapter, Gisborne really pulls the upper hand on King John's son, and
Prince John.
Prince John, And he just wants to take over the land and everything, and he just wants to just take over everything, like Point said there. There is lots of talking where...
yeah, this is the issue I missed, actually.
Yeah, and the connection between Robin and Will, I feel like a huge love connection between those two. And Robin actually tells the people that she is going to fight Gisborne and the others to take back, their freedom and everything. So there's lots of action where Robin is fighting these demon-like things, and one of them says like, oh wait, stop, we know you from when you were born and everything, and basically they try to fill her in with lies and stuff just to make her believe them. And then Gisborne shows up, and like he remembers the arrow. Remember the arrow that they used from when he was about that what killed the king? She gets it back, and then there's just a whole big splash page that has the whole story. By the way, the artwork is still epically
that page
amazing.
is really good.
That page is just every page is just cover to cover, and so yeah, they have a little bit of a talk scene, and of course Robin doesn't join him because Will was afraid that he lost her for a second. So it's Robin Hood versus Gisborne after she takes out the other demons, while Will takes care of the demons. And there's a whole big scene afterwards where it's just Robin versus Gisborne. It was a truly epic fight between those two. Like, it looked like that Gisborne has won, and the prince is just seeing everything. I think that he's going to turn on Gisborne, and how I don't know. Ignore that sound. That's just an email. So
you said you muted it!
I thought I did mute it, but so anyway. So Robin was about to end Gisborne, and the person who is under the cloth is Cal. Spoiler alert. Remember Cal that he killed in Volume 1? Yeah. He makes his return, and that's where it leaves us off, where it'll be Robin Hood versus Cal, and who is the
last final fight.
Nottingham.
Yeah.
Nottingham.
Not Nottingham.
Nottingham. Yeah.
Don't forget.
Truly, highly recommend you check out Robin Hood Volume 2. I believe there's one more chapter.
Yes, this is the last chapter. This is the fight between her and Cal.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to seeing how Volume 2 all ties in together. But Patrick Shan, amazing Robin Hood. I always look forward to reading every single issue that's from him, including Robin Hood.
Can't wait for
Volume 3. I am pumped. I can't wait to see what more lies ahead for Robin Hood. Definitely highly recommend you check out that book. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And now let's go into the final trade paperback that is out of order from this week, and that is Terminator: The Burning Earth, chapter what?
I believe 3. Well, you could scroll down and check it. Was it 3 or 4? I think it's 3, isn't it?
3.
Yeah.
King of the Mountain.
King of the Mountain. Okay, I'm on the roll. So yeah. So basically, it was really a quick read, in my opinion. Like
not that much dialogue this time.
Yeah,
it's like,
not that much
no.
dialogue. It's all about the fighting against the robots. And here's the thing. There is one dialogue that says that they have to find the Slash generator because it will take Skynet off of the internet. So they're just trying to find a way to shut off the generator. Basically, that's what I'm seeing the whole mission is about. There is lots of action, and the artwork, once again, is amazing. And just the whole thing about the robots and how they left us off to be continued was really something. So, oh, wait a minute, weren't you on the wrong page?
That's it. That's the end.
Really?
And that's the cover.
Oh, I thought we did that last time. No, we did that last time. Okay, no, I think. Or was that... I thought we did that last time.
Did we? I don't know. You're the one that's reading this right now. I read the whole book entirely.
Oh.
Ground Zero, there was an explosion.
Oh, yeah, no, we did. I didn't read that, no. My mistake. So,
I think the Terminator was one chapter behind Robin. If we're wrong,
I
we're
think.
wrong.
Yeah.
I could swear that we actually went there too.
But I remember that last time when there were those big robots and everything, so I think it's chapter 4 last day and I showed the wrong picture. I believe. But from what I read, was basically just taking...
No, last time this is where we... Yeah, you're right. Last time we were left in the sky, so yeah, it is chapter 4 you're up to.
Yeah, I thought it was chapter 4. But I gave you a synopsis of what chapter 4 is about with the whole...
Yeah, you were just looking at
robot.
different... Yeah, this was more...
I got confused
yeah, it's all
with
the action,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry guys, it was chapter 4.
Yeah, because they go for Skynet.
Because, yeah, so... sorry about that little mix-up. It's just been a long
Well,
week
they don't
for
see
both
what
of
we
us.
see over here, so... Next
Yeah.
chapter is the heart of Skynet.
Yeah, but all in all, I just want to see how and if they're going to shut down the generator and if it disconnects Skynet off the internet. Because that's going to be something that I'll be looking forward to reading as well as everything else.
Alright, so let's go to the physical
Oh, yeah.
copies now. We are now in, officially, the week of November 27th, 2013.
Okay, and I'm going to start with Image Comics of The Walking Dead, issue number 117. The war against Negan still continues on, and this comic book, as a disclaimer, is for adult readers, this one, because, well, I'll get to why afterwards. So, basically, Negan has Holly, kidnapped, and there's, like, lots of, artwork, which is black and white, no color, which I don't mind at all. And Rick's just trying to find a new plan.
I liked Mike Spiderslayer's analysis of all this, how he actually took it and turned the situation around where Rick's actually the bad guy and Negan's actually the good guy. He just has a foul mouth.
Well, yeah. And Rick is talking about, about the teams and everything else, so I did an in-depth comic review on Dark Avenger Inc., so if you want to check out more about that, but you can check it out. But Negan, man, in almost every dialogue, he just swears, and some of the parts that he says is really unnecessary. Like, really, did you have to say that? You can't just use a regular everyday word, but... long story short, there's this guy who wants to do stuff to Holly, and Negan comes in and says that we don't do that, and then winds up killing him. And that's the end. So...
He says we're not monsters, yet I don't know, he's the one that killed Glenn, but at the same time, if you really look at the way Mike Spiderslayer, if you watch Dark Avenger Inc.'s last live show from last week, towards the end when we actually started talking about books of the week and stuff, Mike Spiderslayer actually mentioned about this and about how you could take this book and really, if you look at all the past stuff that's happened, you can really turn it around and put Rick as the bad guy.
Yeah, but just lots of swearing.
Mike has 3 books before I have a book. Let's just put that out there.
So it's an adult read. But going to a Archie Comics now, Sonic Universe issue number 58 of Pirate Plunder Panic, part 4 of 4.
Thank God this
story
arc's over.
What do you mean, thank God this story arc's over? I really enjoyed this. You be quiet.
I enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog from next
Well, yeah,
week's.
that too, but yeah. So here's some artwork, which is classically drawn.
They're actually, I noticed they're, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not interlocking, but they're crossing over these 2 titles because...
Yeah, because Amy
Sonic,
has to meet...
Yeah, at the end of Sonic, they're going to meet up in Sonic Universe.
Because the world's different and everything. So, throughout this whole book, it's Blaze versus Captain Metal for the Soul Emerald. He takes her back to the Ego War, while Amy and her friends are going to save her, and Captain Whiskers and Captain Marine are having a pirate fight against each other. Amy just gets really tough in this issue. Like, I was really surprised to see that Amy's like really not so softy, because she used to be one of the soft characters in this book. This is my favorite page right here. Burning Blaze. When Blaze got the Lasso Emerald, she just fired up the whole place and burned all of the Ego War to pieces, and never want to piss her off when she gets
It
soul
still
emeralds.
reminds me of the
Supersonic?
Yeah.
When he gets all the Chaos Emeralds. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Shadow too with Silver. Yeah. So Blaze sends Amy back to her world where she has a funny feeling it's not going to be the same again, and that's how it is when she goes back in the end. So now she has to find Sonic to see what's going on. And this story arc right here, I want to make mention,
Wait, let me see
is
the.
Shadowfall.
Yeah, I can't wait for that myself. Now this is the
What?
story of. I might actually get the.
Yeah, that one I like.
Well, there you go,
Both are good.
Well, one you buy, one I'll buy then.
Yeah.
We'll have both covers.
And also there was an off panel. That's funny.
I'm looking forward to Shadows.
Yeah, because I believe they're putting Shadow in it because he got affected with the Genesis wave, and maybe Silver might be next. Like I really don't know.
We'll find out.
But Pirate Plunder Panic, like I said in the in-depth comic review, the whole series gets a 4 to 4.5.
Now that I stuck in your cart because it was a
Yes.
Vertigo, 1 for $1, and it was recommended to me by a few people. And this is the first chapter of Volume 1 of Y the Last Man, Volume 1, Unmanned.
Unmanned.
And I was actually curious to see what you thought of the series.
To be honest, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I read
Like,
through it myself a little
Yeah,
bit.
because basically it talks about, well, it's Brooklyn, New York. I mean,
Starts off in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
and this guy is talking with his girlfriend about like random stuff. Here's some artwork to show you guys, which is artwork looks pretty good. And there's this thing in Washington D.C. about his mother becoming a Senate or running for Senate, and they're just talking about this whole thing about the support against the amendment about abortions and stuff like that. I mean,
love
if
how
you
they're
want.
bringing that.
Yeah, if you want to read more about it, you can. And he has a monkey friend, actually, which
Doesn't surprise me.
I thought was pretty funny, actually. And he's just trying to... What his name is. There is some swearing in it, not a lot as The Walking
Well,
Dead.
it's Vertigo Comics once again.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find out what his name is. But he just... is looking at the news and everything, and there's a all-out war that's going on that this woman's involved in. They just have like different scenarios of that,
Mm-hmm.
and really just lots of stuff, and you know, there's lots of killings, and there's just so many. Oh, Yorick, the guy's name is, by the way. And there's this woman who's going to have a baby, and I really like the part how everything that, like after she gave birth to, it was actually a clone she was giving birth to. And there's just so many things that happen in the end, and there was like one scene where this woman talked about how men are and everything.
And then every man
And
dies.
then every man dies except one. Well, everybody dies except that one. And that's Yorick. And then they give you all the last
Yeah, there's like
volumes.
8. How many volumes are there? 10 volumes altogether.
Yeah. I'll give you a
So
little bit of that. But
maybe something to stick on the
yeah,
old Christmas list.
I did leave some stuff out because I really want you guys to read this because I mean, if you like different scenarios that are shown and other things as well, you'll definitely like this comic book, and I would say it's recommended to check out and see for yourselves if you guys like it, because you'll really enjoy it. And this was Book of the Week, I'll say, next to Almost Sonic Universe.
Well, as much as I hate to take Book of the Week away from all the digital books that we have that we're about to review, 15 more after this, as you guys know from my Big Two reviews and from my previous reviews, my Book of the Week, my Book of the Month, I feel bad for these indie reviews because this book's just always going to get it until it falters, which hopefully never happens.
IDW.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 28. This is cover B. My Midtown files them randomly between cover A and B. This is the double page cover, front and back cover of Kevin Eastman's artwork. Kevin Eastman's artwork. I love how I took a pause in my own sentence.
Very good.
So it's the Turtles versus Bebop and Rocksteady. Casey versus his father, who's Hun. And the one thing I like that they did in this series is back in the 1980s, Bebop and Rocksteady didn't exist because the cartoon series didn't happen yet.
Right.
Now this comic book, even though it's retelling certain aspects of the old comic series, they're throwing in stuff from the cartoons. They're throwing in new stuff like Aloplex is completely brand new. Kitsune is completely brand new to my knowledge.
I think Kitsune is.
To my knowledge. But the Turtles, I like how in the comic books though, Bebop and Rocksteady are more like, in the cartoon series we all know it's like, boom, Bebop's gone, pow, Rocksteady's up. No, in this series, the Turtles have to work hard just to knock them off their feet for a moment. But other than that, Bebop and Rocksteady are like unstoppable, even by the Turtles. And you have Splinter versus Shredder to get Leo back. Hun versus Casey, like I said, and Slash actually steps in and knocks Hun out. Bebop and Rocksteady get knocked down due to one of the machines that April has, but they're not out that long. Leo kind of snaps out of it, sort of. He wakes up and notices, believe it or not, ironically, it's Raph who actually wakes Leo up, and Leo's like, I thought you were dead. How are you not dead? And this is wrong. So then, basically, Leo snapped out of it enough that they were able to escape with Leo, so they won without kind of winning. They hop into a car, and they're gone. They leave New York. So that's kind of how they won but didn't win. They left New York.
Just like in a movie.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Shredder's left to control the underworld of New York, and the Turtles are, I don't even know where they are at the moment. Northampton. It says next issue Northampton, so they're on their way to the Northamptons. Slash gets his black mask back thanks to Leonardo.
Do you kind of see? I hate to interrupt you. Do you kind of see a repetitious here from the movie that they're always going to Northampton and then coming back to New York? Don't you kind of see that?
Another loss kind of is the fact that Leo, even though he recognizes his brothers, his mind is still kind of messed up because when Splinter tries to comfort his son, he's like, don't touch me. And he kind of walks away from the group, and then he goes back. And basically, I think the next story arc, which now City Fall is officially over, I believe the next story arc is going to be all about Leo coming back to who he was, or the journey Leo is about to take to maybe snap out of Kitsune's influence or mind brainwashing stuff.
Absolutely.
Magic. Highly recommend. Once again, the artwork in this book was awesome. You shut your mouth for 5 more seconds. The artwork in this book is awesome. Next is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Micro Series Villains final issue, which is issue 8, and the villain on that issue is, of course, Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to conclude the micro series, and then we're going to get another mini series in the new year, but it's not going to be a micro series spotlight, it's going to be an actual mini series, so that's going to be interesting to read when that comes out. But City Fall, all in all, was a spectacular story arc. Highly recommend you guys check out the entire trade paperback when it comes out if you are not reading this in single issue format. If you are reading this in single issue format, this was a spectacular issue. 5 out of 5 stars. My book of the week, my book of the month. Nothing can top the Turtles at this point in time. We'll see as time moves forward if that is the case, that something will actually top the Turtles. But for right now, issue 28 was my favorite book this week. I've read it twice already. It's really good. Highly recommend you guys check out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't recommend it higher enough. And with that, we're going to take our 1-second click, and we will be right back at the push of a button. So, see you guys in a second. And we're back, everybody, and welcome back. We got our 15 digital books to do now. Now, Mike, you read Black Science. I did not have a chance to read issue 1 of Black Science. So, how'd it go?
Well, first let me show the cover for Black Science. And to be honest, I wasn't really a fan of this comic book.
I wasn't a fan from the cover, and then I kind of got into the middle, and I felt very confused about what was going on.
Yeah, like there was so many of these creatures, and there's this guy in a helmet who lost his beloved.
Yeah, these space people out of nowhere. They're on this alien world. It's
faces,
like explanation.
And they're fighting these frogs and everything. Like there was no like.
Then there's a naked fish woman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they explained it a little bit of before that led to this, but I really just couldn't. I mean, I'm not that big of a fan of this. The way the whole thing is explained and everything. The
I don't
artwork
like
is
it.
just. I didn't like it either that much. I mean, it was okay. I'm not saying that it was good or bad. When I say okay in general, I'm leaving it up to you guys. I mean, if you like things that are... I mean, the ending part, though, did have a bit of a cliffhanger with the guy and his children, because he told his children that their mom died and everything. But, I don't know, I'll come back for issue 2 of Black Science, but if I see the exact same thing that I just saw in this one, I'll just not read it. It's up to you guys, though, if you want to check it out. Do we say the company?
It's from Dark Horse.
Yeah, Dark Horse, yeah. But up to you guys if you want to check it out and see for yourselves about it.
Let's continue with Dark Horse with Sledgehammer 44, Lightning War, issue number 1 of 3. It's from the pages of Hellboy, actually. And I read 2 of the, oh god, what was it? The Hell ones.
Yeah,
Hell on Earth.
Oh, yeah.
No, Hell on Earth. So this one kind of, I figured you might be interested in it. Next week actually will be Hellboy issue 5, so that's going to be interesting to talk about. But
yeah, but this comic book, it starts off where 2 guys are going to a prison and they talk to this guy who lost somebody, and he was just like really not the same after that. It really was, this actually takes place in Germany, so to say, if I remember correctly. There's this whole big thing of when he goes into another world about a vision or something. The artwork is pretty good. I'll say that much.
it's dark and it's something you have to get used to.
Yeah, and there's lots of stuff to take in about this character. It talks about him a little bit, and there's just like lots of stuff that happens with the plane that happens, that plane scene, and boy, can't wait to see how that's going to turn out for the next issue.
Oh, I have a feeling.
Really interesting, though, when I read this comic book of Sledgehammer. But I would say check this out. For those of you who, like you said, who read the Hellboy comics, then you'll definitely enjoy this comic book of Sledgehammer.
Okay. Now we have another mini. It's a 3-issue mini, I believe, too.
Yeah.
And it's called Never Ending. And it's about a person who gets hit with a meteorite. His name is Charles. He gets hit with a meteorite, and it takes place in 3 different time streams. It takes place in 1960s and 50s, the 1990s, the late 1990s, as a matter of fact, 1998, and then it jumps into the year 2036. In the 1960s, this character, basically all the superhero names were taken, and they reference a lot about comic books and whatnot, but he doesn't go by a superhero name. He just goes by his first name.
He reminds me of Superman.
Exactly. He has the red cape, the blue costume with the Captain America belt and the Captain America boots. So he's kind of like a generic hero, even with the Superman curl and everything. It's like a mixture of several characters in one. Then when you get to the 1990s, he changes his costume to more of a like blue jeans kind of feel, and a trench coat. And he gets heavy, so obviously he's going through a time where he wasn't a superhero. He let himself go, so to speak. And then in the year 2036, he's back to like full bodysuit kind of hero. No more curl. His hair is just short, and he gained tons of muscle and no cape anymore. So you see him the changes he's gone through throughout the years.
Yeah, that's what I liked when I read about that.
Also in the 90s, he had long hair.
Yeah, he did. You said that.
So, basically, he's immortal from what this book is telling me, or at least that's what I feel.
Invulnerable.
And, no, he has all the powers of, I would say, like, Superman. They still don't know how he gained these powers. He outlives his wife, he outlives his son, or they weren't protected from what I can tell, because from the 1950s to the 90s, I highly doubt that they died of natural causes. And he makes an arch rival of this guy. His name is Archie, and he basically swears that he's going to kill Charles before he passes away. Why? Because I don't know, honestly. Did you understand why he wanted to kill him? Basically because he couldn't figure out what made Charles what he was.
Oh, you mean the scientist?
Yeah, Archie.
Yeah, this. I don't know. Like there was something that he saw in him that he really didn't. They really didn't like. Like I really didn't know what his.
And we don't know why.
Was.
Yeah, they didn't show it in this issue.
And then in the end, like this was the funny part where he gets this robot and he says, like the robot says, "I'm gonna kill you one way or another," and then he's saying, "I want to try to help you," and then he goes, "Wait, really?" Like I thought that was just hilarious.
Yeah, apparently, Charles has had enough of, I guess, immortality, and now he's looking for, as they say, an escape.
Absolutely, but it was a fun read. You know,
Highly recommend it. I actually liked it, and I like the generic costumes. It actually shows the age of superheroes, in my opinion, because the costumes kind of reflect on the time period and the way even the superheroes in the comics were back in those times. So it was interesting.
Very.
So I would definitely say check it out. Next is a book you read. I'm very surprised you read this book. Aphrodite. What was it?
11? No, that 10.
9. Aphrodite 9.
Yeah.
Issue number 6.
So.
The first 4 issues were free, you know.
I know, I didn't see those actually. But in this comic book of Aphrodite, it's about this woman who has a dragon, and she's fighting all these demons that want to go after her. And there's just like a whole big story about that there's more, like when she was born and everything, like they do talk about that. And there was actually a clone of her, the future self with shorter hair, and she
15.
was 15. And the reason why there was these demons is that she wanted to test her to see if she wasn't legit, like if she was the real thing that they were looking for. Because there's a big story behind it about there's clones of more than just one of Aphrodite, from what the name of the title is. And there's just a bunch of action. Artwork is done really nicely, and you get more of her origin story in this one. Of the back, like, I'm trying to figure out the word, like more of an origin about how she came to this world and everything, and how everything just went together. But really interesting. I would recommend you guys check it out.
Absolutely.
Of Aphrodite. And
Mike said he had to do it. I had so many other books to read, honestly. For example, like this one, Saga issue 16.
Let me see if I can get it. Go ahead.
Issue 16 takes place before before the last issue, where basically the will back on. First of all, there's a really interesting. There's always one page where there's some nudity, and that's the page we got for. Yeah, you remember that. You read this, right?
Only a little bit. I didn't get to that part.
Okay then. So they're still on their downtime. Marco and his wife and the baby are still hiding out, but at the end of the issue, the prince shows up, and we all know what the prince does to the person that's taking care of them, whose name completely slips my mind at the moment. But I love how Marco's kind of like got that more of a like stay-at-home mom kind of feel than actual manly, like. His wife,
like a housewife.
His wife is more of the manly type. Like the pants are reversed. She wears the pants in the family. So basically, the will is dying, and the only one that could actually save him is Marcos. So the woman wants the Lion Cat to help him find Marcos. This way, they could save the will from dying.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it left off. And the book actually ends where it says, yeah, that's the point where the visitor, we had to watch in silence as the prince killed the guy that was hiding us out. But after that, things got action-packed. And that's where it's to be continued. Left out the whole middle. And there's definitely a reason for it. This book was heavy on dialogue. There was very little action in this. More along lines of setup for what's to come, and more along lines of just downtime.
Yeah, that's what I like about Saga. They just set it up for something else for us to look forward to.
And you gotta love those one pages. There's always one. It's like every issue there has to be one reference to sex, one piece of nudity, or something, or else it's not. But that's kind of the staple to Saga now. Every issue that's there.
So this is for adult readers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, positively, 100%.
Do I point that out there?
Yes, it's for adult readers. But Saga has been so good. 16 issues in, and it is a amazing series, and it is a sellout series, by the way. Good luck finding Saga issue 1. We got issue 1 signed.
Right there.
That is the only way I got my hands on an issue 1, was to buy it signed. By, I
You
believe,
got lucky there.
oh yeah, I got real lucky. I believe I got it signed by Brian Vaughan, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Brian K. Vaughan. I got it signed by. This was a really good issue. Highly recommend it. Lots of dialogue, though. And like the issue says, it's a lot of downtime. The next issue is definitely going to be more of a action-packed issue, or at least that's what they're promising us. We'll see what happens when it actually happens. So let's move on to... Let's give your book a try. Mike read this. I did not.
Yes.
The Maximized, issue number 1.
Yes.
Why did I actually mentioned we didn't have to read that one, Mike.
Oh. Well, I read it anyway. But it was really like, it just talks about like his personality, Max.
Mm-hmm.
About, you know, the way he is. Like, you know how in every issue 1 they give like a little bit of an origin story?
Yeah.
And I don't want to give too much away of his origin story. Like, you should read it to see about it. But, his life is just like all over the place. Like, he just fights a lot of times, and it's just really his character. Like, you could actually feel for his character. And as the pages kept going and everything, there's just lots of things. Even the ending. The ending is where it's gonna be either way out or no way out, from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And it says next month. Yeah. So I guess a monthly issue. But
I think it's I believe it was supposed to be a miniseries. I could be
I
wrong.
don't know. You can check out this series if you want to of the Max. You know, it's the guy, the one with his tooth that sticks out a little bit. You know, and he also.
It's if you're a fan of the series. If you're not,
if you're a
then I
fan of
don't
the
know if
series,
you would be
that's the
interested.
word I was looking for. Stop reading my mind. That's the word I was looking for. But yeah. Go ahead.
Godzilla Rulers of Earth, issue number 6. This was more of an all-out fight, in my opinion. That's really all it was. It was Godzilla versus Gigan.
Gigan, yeah. What Gigan?
Gigan, and then another monster shows up. I forgot his name.
Totora. Or Tor. Oh, yeah. It shows it when you go down, but really there was just no dialogue. Like, there was this guy who was...
Yeah, it's mainly fighting.
Yeah, there was this guy who was talking to them saying that we need backup, we need robots, or something to take them out. And it shows it, like, keep going. Well, in the end, there's a big surprise of, should I spoil who comes in the end?
Yeah. Bit of a spoiler, but Godzilla and Gigar are not faring too well. So enter Jet Jaguar.
Oh, Jaguar.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. And in the next issue, it actually, the cover shows Jet Jaguar versus Godzilla. So that's
And you know what happens when they go one-on-one.
Now, Godzilla Rulers of Earth really mainly is a Godzilla versus book. That's what it's been mostly. There are issues that have a lot of dialogue, but for the most part, it's Godzilla and the monsters from Godzilla's universe fighting each other. Doesn't necessarily have to make sense. There is a story arc in there somewhere, but at the same time, it's really just a
Well,
big
from
old...
last issue, there was more dialogue into the story that led
there
to
was.
Godzilla with leaving Las Vegas, I believe it was.
Going to Las Vegas.
Going
This fight was in Las
right.
Vegas.
In Las Vegas. I
want to see a rematch between the Godzilla that's from America and the Godzilla that's from Japan.
Oh, that one I want to see.
Yeah.
That would be a worth read comic book. But Jet Jaguar, I want to see how his actions are going to play for the next issue of Godzilla. 'Cause when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, Jet Jaguar? That's amazing.
So that was it for that. Mike, you read Mr. Peabody and Sherman, issue 1, and I don't know why
Do you
did
remember
that.
this cartoon?
I do, yes.
Oh
I do.
my god, this comic book was funny. I laughed about the whole thing. It's basically a dog and this boy.
Peabody and Sherman are.
Yeah, the tile says who they are. They go back in time to the cavemen, and then they go to the Mayans, where the dog is saying, you know, your thing was wrong about us, the world ending on December 21st, 2012, and all that stuff. And it was just funny. Like, they just run into, like, so many things, and basically they just want to travel back in time to, like, to recreate it, but in a way to see how how the past played, as well as
The truth.
the truth.
That's what
about
the
it.
cartoon used to be about. Them going back in time to learn something. Like, Sherman would know something, so
The dog.
the dog would take them back
Yeah,
in
the
time,
dog's
and they
more
would
of a
actually.
genius.
He is a genius. He's the one that made the time machine. So he would take them back in time, and they would learn about the actual historical event.
Right, and then it's like him teaching him, like, he's a
Yeah.
teacher and he's
He's the teacher, basically. So that was. I love the concept back when it was a cartoon. I hope that the movie portrays the characters justly, but the comic book was, from what you say, a really
Mhm.
good read as well.
Yeah, funny read, guys. If you're looking for something fun to read, I would definitely say to check what was it again? Yeah, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I can't remember the comic.
I had to let him find it because I was going to hit him.
Yeah. Go ahead. What are you doing?
Waiting for the cover.
I'm getting it. Just say what it is.
Ghostbusters issue number 10. It's the relaunch. It's supposed to be the all-new Ghostbusters, but now that the original Ghostbusters are back, they just go back to being called Ghostbusters, which is horribly wrong because I didn't buy the series in a physical copy format because it was all new. If I would have known this was what was going to happen, I would have continued to buy it.
Yeah, but this is part 2 of Happy Horror Days, by the way.
Yep. Es de los Muertos!
Yep.
Spanish holiday. And, got a bunch of ghosts that show up.
And plus the little girl
It's the little girl that actually opens up the a gateway and actually welcomes in. I don't even know what this ghost is, but it's a ghost of a
I can't
bride slash Grim Reaper.
Sure, let's go.
And every time the Ghostbusters try to contain her, she splits into 2. So she splits into 4 altogether. They capture 3 of the 4. 4th one shows up again, and they find out that it's connected to the little girl's house, who was actually told how to open up the gateway. They break the gateway. The female Grim Reaper disappears, but the little girl gets pulled into some type of a hole or a gateway, and the Ghostbusters actually help save her, and the gateway closes. But there's still something out there, and obviously it's going into now the Sinterklaas Festival.
Yeah, something like that. And even this next story about Walter Peck,
I don't like Walter Peck.
I don't like him either, but instead of him getting slimed, one of his friends do. That was the second story arc.
It was 2 pages.
But I really enjoyed it with their ghost adventures and paranormal stuff.
I feel like it was a very straightforward issue. It read quickly, it went quickly, but at the same time, it was very enjoyable.
I was going to say enjoyable. And adventurous, too.
Very.
Because that's what Ghostbusters always brings in every single comic book. Adventure and enjoyment.
Highly recommend you guys check out
Definitely.
Ghostbusters. Can't recommend Ghostbusters enough, honestly. And finally from IDW, no, not finally, sorry, there's 2 more from IDW. First we have X-Files Season 10, Issue 6. What did you think of this? This actually introduced the antagonist from the first episode of the first season.
Oh man, this comic book was really just astonishing, amazing. Like, I read this comic book and it digitally, and it was just wow. Like, I can't
want to
explain
believe,
anymore.
huh?
Like, there's this thing that happens in the beginning where this boy and this girl, well, the girl goes swimming and something attacks her, and we know that it's one of those things
The
that
Fluke
are
Men.
that are in the water, but we don't know it yet until the story continues. So Fox and
The X-Files
Diana?
are reopened. Fox and Mulder, the X-Files reopen, and the first case they have is the first case from, like I said, the first episode of the first season.
Right. And the thing is, they don't believe them because there's no evidence to prove that it was that thing underwater that actually was, one of them. So they can't actually just report, right flat out there.
Yeah, they're just chalking it up to drowning.
And that new woman that works for the X-Files, I do not like her.
I hate her guts, too.
Yeah, and then Fox is trying to tell the sheriff, saying, I know that's this and that, and he doesn't believe him because they have to do an autopsy.
It's peak season, yeah. It's peak season for it's peak beach season right now, so they don't want to scare the people away.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing that Diana found out, or Dana was
Dana.
Yeah, Dana found out. These creatures regenerate.
So the one that he cut in half from episode 1 of season 1
is alive.
Somehow regenerated, and that's what leads into this case.
The irony of this. There is more than one. Because Fox is in the sewer helping this girl, and there's more than one. And that does not look good.
Next issue is the Fluke Men.
I mean, the situation does not look good. The comic book was just epically amazing. But, man, they leave you on a cliffhanger that I just want to read next issue already.
I love X-Files, and the really interesting thing is next year we're not getting another Infestation. We're getting an X-Files crossover.
Ooh, with who?
With all the books in IDW, with a lot of the main books in IDW.
That is really
TMNT,
cool.
Transformers, G.I. Joe. It's going to start in X-Files, I believe, and end in X-Files.
So X-Files is going to meet Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It's going to be really good. I can't wait.
I never thought they'd meet them.
I can't wait to read that series.
Well, then the mutants and their...
I wonder if they're going to do buttons or... I remember they did patches for the first Infestation.
If they do, I'll buy it.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, next comic.
Now, finally, from IDW is Transformers Robots in Disguise, issue number 23, which is chapter 3 of Dark Cybertron. All hell's breaking loose on Cybertron. Starscream doesn't know what the heck he's doing. He was left in charge. Apparently, see, now I haven't read Robots in Disguise for a while, so apparently Starscream killed Metal Hawk. Ironically, Metal Hawk backed the bad guy and got what he deserved. So it turns out that it's found out that the Titan didn't give Starscream, didn't say that Starscream will lead them because he's going to lead them. He's basically going to lead them to destruction. He's going to lead the Cybertronians to, what was it? He was the chosen one, but he's been chosen to destroy us.
What is it, Star Wars?
I have no idea. So, but back in space, however, Ultra Magnus is leading his people. What they're supposed to be doing is searching for Janix, but the thumb of the Titan that they had, which was, oh god, what was the name of the Titan? Metroplex, starts to gravitate away, and it turns out it's trying to reach out to Metroplex. So what happens is, Ultra Magnus changes the directive to, we're going to find Metroplex. So they're off to find Metroplex. There's this huge death wave that shoots out on Cybertron from the Titan on Cybertron. Metal Hawk somehow is now alive again. And he rescues Megatron, who is who's dead, but he rescues his body and takes it to, I believe it was Shockwave.
Yeah, I think it was. From what I heard.
And basically Shockwave brings Megatron back to life. So I'm guessing Metal Hawk basically made his choice. He was never an Autobot or a Decepticon, but apparently he's on Megatron's side. He's a Decepticon. And I just want to see if I could get the name. Shockwave, I was right. Yeah. So Shockwave has brought Megatron back to life, or has opened the gateway for something. We don't know. We'll find out in the next chapter. But man, oh man, this series has me at the edge of my seat each and every chapter I read.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going into Zenescope for one book this week, and that is Wonderland Through the Looking Glass, issue number 3. I like this issue. What did you think of it?
I was looking through this issue. First of all, I love the artwork in this one because Zenescope just really provides that. I thought it was really interesting, and
Do you think he's gonna go crazy in the end of the series, the Mad Hatter, and become the Mad Hatter?
if to be the Mad Hatter, I believe he is from the way I see it.
The vision he got at the end of the ad when he was talking with Death, I believe he might actually become the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, after seeing that, because it's just lots of there's a bunch of imagination. Like you can actually see it happening. Like like when you read it, it makes it like more realistic. Like you're in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I felt when I read this comic book. I mean, that's
like
what,
you were there running with them or doing whatever they were doing.
exactly. I mean, Zenescope.
Death is a very beautiful
that.
woman. If I get to meet this Death when I'm dead, when I'm ready to die, if she comes to get me, I'll let her take me.
Not unless I get there first.
You probably will die before me.
You're welcome. I'll save the last one for you. Continue. Why are we talking about something that's
I enjoyed this
fictional?
issue, and Death actually makes mention that the Mad Hatter always finds his way back to Death. So
Right.
Johnny, in one way or another, is going to end up back with Death, is what she's saying. But Johnny just wants to get home. That's the whole point of Through the Looking Glass. This is I believe it's 4 issues. Let me just make sure it's at the very beginning. A 5-issue series. This is issue 3 of 5. And all Johnny wants to do is get home. He's following what the dagger is telling him to do. And actually, I love how the woman he's with, she actually says, "What does the dagger say about this?" Because they're in a worse situation. And the dagger says, "Bitch."
Wow.
And that's exactly what he says. And I'm like, wow, that's nice, sort of.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, well, we're getting the wrap it up for this, so hold on a sec, guys. It'll be a push of a button for us. It'll be 1 second for you. And we'll be right back with the concluding couple of issues for this week's review. Alright, there's that push the button. So, The Shadow, issue number 20 from Dynamite Comics. The Shadow is now in search for answers about his ring. So he travels to Soviet Russia to see an old friend, or somebody he fought alongside many years ago. He's older now, the friend he goes to see, and actually he's known as the what was it?
Just
the something.
It has to do with the ring. Like
The Dark Eagle.
Yeah, because the ring plays a part in this, from what we saw in last issue.
And he has questions about the whereabouts of what was his name?
Can't remember. It was one of the people that he was looking for.
White Tiger. He was looking for White Tiger, and the person he went to, he says, "I haven't heard or known anything about the White Tiger for a long time." And then he asks about Zakachov?
Zakachov.
And apparently he escaped the prison, and he's kind of like, there's a bunch of murders going on in the prison, so the Shadow decides to stick around and figure out what exactly is going on. And he learns that Zakachov is actually the one committing the murders, living in the wilderness. Because basically when you leave this jail and you go back into the world, you're not allowed to go into the big cities, you're not allowed to have a job, you're not allowed anything. You basically leave the prison to die. So Zakachov basically is living in the wild on his own and just trying to survive. And basically he's ready to pay for his sins. Now that the Shadow's there, he's actually going to make him pay for his sins. But he said, I need to know about the White Tiger. Tell me what I need and I'll make it quick and painless.
Looks cool.
Mm-hmm. And the Shadow actually comes back for the person he used to work, he used to be friends with years back. And he says, if I can get you out of here, I didn't want to leave you behind. If I could get you out of here, where would you like to go? He's like, go. The second I leave this place, I'm dead. So I'd rather just stay right where I am.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay exactly where I am. Leave me alone. I'm done. And basically, the Shadow just leaves. That was it. That was the end of the Shadow's friend. He basically
He
chose
said
to
that
stay
more
in
than
jail.
once, actually, that he wanted to die.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted to die in this book.
Well, because Chris, they were treated like they were slaves, you know,
Yes, they
working
were.
there. So who wouldn't want to think that, you know? You
Very
gotta,
true.
yeah, I feel
This
for
was
the
a
character.
really good issue of the
Yes.
Shadow. Not that much Shadow, but you understand why as you're reading
And
the
the
book. It
ring,
was good.
from what we saw from last part, plays a huge part in this one. Like, we find out
Mhm.
more about him, what it, and why.
I think the White Tiger's where we're gonna get the whole
Yeah,
connection of this second
But it's
ring.
really like who, what, when, where, and why about the whole ring.
Mhm.
And sometimes how.
So now let's jump into Eternal Warrior, issue number 3. He is in search of, oh god, the name just left me completely. But in the beginning of the book, they're actually
was it
shopping.
that devil character,
No.
the wild?
No,
No?
the necromancer. Well, we'll get to it. Anyway, they're shopping, and I love how his daughter's like, they just let you buy stuff off the shelves, and he's walking around with like a cart full of machine guns and swords and whatnot, and he's like, welcome to America. And they're shopping, and he wants to know what her point is, what happened 6,000 years ago after she killed his son, and she gives a briefy recap of what happened to her for a time until she was called, or until the God of the Wild came to her
God,
and
the
asked,
wild.
for her help. But then the story gets cut off because they're looking for, oh, here it is, Buck.
Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to
And
look for him.
it turns out that they're getting too close to something, and they get attacked, actually, by people who I believe have him enslaved. Or not have him enslaved, have him, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? As their prisoner. And Eternal Warrior shows up and basically, his name is Exron, by the way. Wait, not Exron, Giled.
Yeah, and they have a big talk with each other, and he actually tells him, like, saying, like, I think it was in this comic book, like, saying, what happened to the guy who wanted to defend for Earth? Or
Yeah, and
something
he
like
just
that?
wants to, basically, Giled wants to just kill every single one of the gods, and basically,
To call the gods, yeah.
and kill basically, he's done with the Earth, he doesn't want to defend it anymore, the Earth basically doesn't want to defend anything. Actually, the Earth turned on his daughter as well, when it didn't
did.
need her anymore. So basically, he just wants to kill all the gods,
The
and
ending.
Buck actually gives him some interesting information about the true enemy. Turns out the true enemy is the son that was killed by his daughter.
Wow. Like, I'm just saying, when I read that, that was my expression, like, whoa.
So Exron's brother is basically the sword of the dead, so to speak, and is to be continued. This was a really good
There's gonna be
issue.
a lot of revenge in this one.
But there's a lot of revenge going on at the same time. It's like, I'm getting revenge on you for doing and I'm getting revenge on you for doing and I'm getting revenge on you because I went out of this for and I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Revenge.
Yeah, that's what this book is. They should just call it Eternal Revenge.
Or
Gillen,
Warrior revenge.
Gilland and Exron are basically immortal. That's him and his daughter. And she killed his son thousands of years ago, but apparently by killing him, she basically made him the god of the dead, so to speak.
Yep.
So now Gillen has to go and kill his son, per se. That's what I'm getting out of this book. I really do enjoy Eternal Warrior, though. I did like it.
I did too.
Hopefully things will pick up, and hopefully the story will be a little bit less revenge and a little bit more, person on a mission, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now finally this week we are on X-O-Man of War issue number 19. The artwork actually changed in this book, which kind of left me a little uncomfortable while
I
reading
thought
it.
it was just me. I thought I was going crazy. The artwork did change, didn't
The
it?
artwork did change, absolutely, to a
thought-
brighter
I thought it
kind of
looked
like
different.
more. It's a bright kind of open, kind of like airbrush kind of coloring, instead of it
Like
being
little
like
strokes of
little
stuff.
little coloring. So basically, Ninjak is now against Exo Man of War because he's now more of a threat than the Vine is.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's taken over, what was it? What was it?
The village?
He's taken over a piece of where, I forgot what the dang place was.
I'm trying to remember now.
I'm trying to remember where he took over also, and it's completely
Our
perplexing.
apologies. We read like so many of these comics, like it's hard.
Whatever, in Romania. But anyway, Ninjak basically is now Aric's prisoner, and this is connected with what happened in Unity issue number 1. So Exo Man of War is going to be crossing over with Unity for a little while, because after this issue it says to be continued in Unity issue number 2. So if you want to see the continuation of this story, you actually have to read Unity issue 2, and if you want to see how we got to this point, you have to read Unity number 1.
Yeah, because I remember reading Unity for the review.
So Aric isn't liking the way that Volo is taking all the bodies and just throwing them into a pit. He says these are warriors, you know, you have to respect them, you have to bury them the right way. You can't just throw a bunch of bodies into a grave and that's that. There's no honor and no respect. And Volo actually questions Aric enough, and he challenges him as he challenges his leadership of the people. He challenges basically his, how do I put it?
His army?
Basically his position. So, but Volo won't fight in his armor.
His title.
So, so Aric isn't going to fight in his armor either, and it becomes basically just a full-on fight between the two of them. No armor, no suit, no nothing.
Just regular humans. But then they were like saying, you know, that we shouldn't be fighting each other.
Yeah, Aric almost loses, and then he comes back in the end, and then instead of killing Volo like what he's supposed to do in a fight like this, a fight for the honor of being the leader or the king, he actually tells Volo, we shouldn't be fighting like you said. We should actually be working together because you fight, you know, because Volo fights really good and he's a strong leader and so is Aric. So both of them together work better together than as enemies. And in the end, Ninjak basically reaches out to, oh god, the Harbinger, the leader of Harbinger, and basically radios for evac immediately. And it says, next extraction, read issue number 2 of Unity, which is on sale December 11th, 2013. And actually, the next issue of Exo Man of War is Harbinger of Doom, which is issue number 20, which is coming out in December. That's going to be interesting as well. So that's the big crossover, I guess, right now, is between Unity and Exo Man of War. And this was a really good book. I love Aric. I love the story of Exo Man of War. This is my favorite series out of Valiant Comics.
Yeah.
And now Unity, of course, because it crosses over with Exo Man of War. But I'm loving the series. I'm loving the writing, and the art change is a bit of a shock. A little bit of a shock, but then you get used to it. And I love this issue. I definitely recommend Exo Man of War to read.
Yep, same here. I really enjoyed it as well with the whole thing of what's going on in that comic book.
And with that, guys, that's it for this week. Let us know in the comments below any recommendations you have on any of the books that you read that we did not review here. Questions, comments, opinions, if you would like to hear our opinion on a certain thing. If you have any questions or comments about any of the books we read here, feel free to leave those in the comments below, and your comment will be heard on the weekly comic book haul, which was late this week. Why? Because my comics never got here. His did, mine didn't. So
that's weird how mine do and yours not.
Yours was a very light.
Well, it was light.
It was a light box. So no comic book haul yet. If I get the books tomorrow, I still will be doing the comic book haul, even though I normally don't after the weekend. But because I answer your guys' comments, I don't want to double up on the comments. So there still will be a haul. Expect the Big 2 comic review, the Dark Avenger comic book review, to be a bit late this week because A, I'm going to be having a very busy week this week. B, he's going to be having a very busy week this week. And C, I have no idea how many books we have, but I believe I have quite a few. So hopefully the review will be as early as humanly possible. Let's put it that way. Shall we?
Let's just put it that way.
Don't forget also, guys, to check out comicrelated.com as well as Dark Avenger Inc. and Comic Frontline. All three sites are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. We try to give you guys as much content as we can on each and every one of those sites. So if you haven't already subscribed to Dark Avenger Inc., go check out Dark Avenger Inc. If you like what you see, hit that sub button. If you enjoy the reviews you're seeing here and you're not already subscribed to my channel, the sub button is somewhere around this video. So please feel free to click that sub button so you don't miss out on a single review I do on this channel. I promise you guys the Superman Files. I will do it. I promise. I'm actually gearing up for that very soon. Probably won't be doing the comic review tomorrow, so that's probably going to be my target video for tomorrow night. Also, if you are a part of Blogger, you can subscribe to the Comic Frontline feed, and we could be in your feed on Blogger. If not, if you like to save things to your toolbar, please don't forget to add Comic Related and Comic Frontline to your toolbar. This way you can check out the websites each and every day. We update Comic Frontline every day. There's something new, and every day there's something new on Comic Related. 24/7, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year. Every single 10 years to a century, 5 years.
You're stressing yourself out. Stop.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop.
Just stop.
Basically, there's always something new on the websites. There's always something new on Dark Avenger Inc. And so that's that. So guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Take care.
Yep.
Keep reading. Keep collecting.
And keep watching.
And we'll see you guys in the next review. Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.